everybody, my name is Neha and I'm a member of the Teen Advisory Board here at Howard County Library System. And today I will be going through a 2-octave G major scale and arpeggio on the violin. Now, scales and arpeggios are very important fundamental building blocks of any musical instrument because they serve as a basis for playing any type of musical concerto or anything in particular. And it's important to have a strong foundation on these concepts because this will enable us to play much more difficult music in the future. Now, before we go through the scale itself, it's important to take a look at the key signature of G major. Now, the key signature of G major is fairly simple because we only have one sharp, and this sharp is going to be on the note line of F. So if we take a look at this key signature, we see that this key signature only has one sharp, which is on the note line of F. And if you see this in any type of music or scale you're playing, this is an automatic signal for you to play all your notes in the key of G major. So now let's move on to playing the actual scale itself. So in order to be able to play a 2-octave scale, it's important to be able to play 1-octave scale as well, right? So right here, we have a 1-octave G major scale. And if we take a look at the key signature we were talking about earlier, you see that there is only one sharp on the note line of F. So this, again, is our automatical signal to play a scale in the key signature of G major. So let's take a look at the notes that we have here. So the first note in any scale is going to be the scale we're playing, right? So since we're playing a G major scale, our first note is G. And this is the lowest G that we have on the violin because it's on the G string. So after we play a G, we have an A, a B, and a C. So all scales actually follow this alphabetical pattern. They go from A to G and they continue to repeat as you play more and more octaves. And this is a very unique pattern. It's what make all types of scales actually. And this is the pattern we see all throughout any type of scale, regardless of any instrument. But coming back to our G major scale, we see that after we play a C, we're going to play a D, an E, F sharp, and a G. So now I want to draw your attention to the note of F sharp. We know to play an F sharp instead of an F natural because, again, it's the key signature which tells us, which gives us the hint, which gives us the clue to play an F sharp instead of F natural. So this completes a 1-octave G major scale, and it's fairly simple, right? It's just important to keep track of our sharps, and in this case, the only sharp we have is F sharp. So now let's play through this real quick before we move on to a 2-octave G major scale. And that completes a 1-octave G major scale. Again, keep in mind that I played F sharp because I know the key signature tells me to play F sharp. So now continuing to a 2-octave scale. We see that this is simply a continuation of what we played earlier. So if we think about what note we ended on a G. So now the next note that's going to come in our pattern is an A. And that's the first note we're going to start on. Then a B, a C, a D, E, F sharp, and G. So now, thinking back to what we just played earlier, these are literally the exact same notes, except they're an octave higher. So this doesn't make a difference, it's just that we're playing higher notes. Again, I want to draw your attention to the F sharp. The F sharp here is on the E string. So that means instead of playing F natural, we're going to play F sharp. So let's play through the 2-octave G major scale. right there was a continuation of the 2-octave G major scale. So now let's put it together. As you can see on the screen, this is the entire 2-octave G major scale all put together without any breaks. So let's play through this one as well. And as you can see, wherever there was an F sharp applicable, I did play that. And again, just to reiterate, that's because of our key signature. So another thing we can talk about in relation to scales are arpeggios. Now arpeggios are very beautiful sounding sections of the scale but put together. And these arpeggios can be played ascending or descending, and they can be played over multiple octaves and using multiple patterns. So we could play, for example, a 1-octave arpeggio, but we could also play a 4-octave arpeggio, similar to scales. So these arpeggios relate to the scales, and they kind of build off of what we just previously played. So let's take a look at a 2-octave G major arpeggio. So as you can see, there aren't as many notes, and that's because we're actually skipping a few notes in between, but we still have the same sound of a G major arpeggio. Now the key signature here is going to be exactly the same, but we're not going to be playing all the notes. So let's take a look at what notes we're actually playing. So just like a scale, we're always going to start off with a G. Then the next note we have is a B, a D, a G again, a B, D, and finally a G. You might notice that there aren't any Fs in this one, right? So we don't have to play F natural or F sharp anywhere through this, but it's important to realize that it's still the same exact key signature. So let's play through a 2-octave G major arpeggio. And notice that this arpeggio was very short, and that's the beauty of an arpeggio. They're short, but they still retain the beautiful sound of a scale. So I hope that this little tutorial on scales and arpeggios was helpful, and I hope you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching.